Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Judy Fay London. I'm an average person, but I don't worship billionaires, nor do I love dictators. I fight for freedom, democracy, human rights, and science. And upload weekly to this series, which talks about history, culture, economics, and more. My friends, before we dive into today's topic, please allow me to thank the friends who bought me coffee from my website last week. Thank you so much for your kind support, my friends. Thank you. Okay, my friends, I'd like to know that Trump has been saying that only he can save the world from the World War III for many years. In fact, he also always claims that he has saved this and that, or only he can save this and that. How ridiculous! Unfortunately, so many people believe his illogical, unreasonable, and absurd words. Now you know why they don't want people to be well educated and why they want people to stay Trumper-like. Alright, you see, my friends, fake heroes always brag about the heroic things they didn't do or will never do, while real heroes always maintain a humble outlook on the heroic things they've done, like the man who actually stopped the World War III. Yes, we are gonna talk about Stanislav Petrov, the man who stopped an outlawed nuclear exchange between Russia and the United States on September 26, 1983. Petrov was a real hero. He almost single-handedly prevented the deaths of hundreds of millions, if not billions of people in both the US and the Soviet Union, even worldwide. Why? Well, you see, my friends, 3 weeks before the event, the Soviet Union had shut down a South Korean flight, killing 269 people, including a U.S. congressman. NATO was bombarded with a show of military exercises, including the deployment of new intermediate-range ballistic missiles, which the Soviet defense minister characterized as a means for a first strike. And then, on September 26, Lieutenant Colonel Petrov was called in an underground bunker monitoring the Soviet early warning detection system. Then the system indicated 5 incoming American nuclear missiles. Petrov had only minutes to decide whether or not the satellite data were a false alarm. If he reported the incoming American strike, the Soviet nuclear doctrine would call for a full nuclear retaliation. That would lead to an all-out US-Russia nuclear war. Since Petrov had helped design the bunker and some of its technology, he knew the system was not 100% foolproof. So he categorized the threat as a false alarm. And according to his own words, he didn't want to be the one responsible for starting a third world war. And it turned out he was right. The US didn't launch a nuclear war. Like I've said before in my previous videos, No world leaders would launch a nuclear war unless he's a fool. And Petrov was a real hero who truly stopped the Third World War, saving millions of lives. My friends, may I pose a question? Do you know what a trial balloon is? It's something that is done or announced as a test in order to find out other people's reactions to it. As you might know, companies use it by sending out press releases to judge customer reactions, while politicians float trial balloons to see how the public reacts to their ideas, policies, or actions. And Trump is a master at trial balloons. Yeah, you guessed it. Today we are gonna talk about Trump's trial balloons. You see, for many years, Trump's political trial balloons have been soaring all around, testing the atmosphere for him. That's right, Trump has been launching trial balloons since 2015. And in my opinion, his first trial balloon was the one that marked a disabled New York Times reporter at a rally. If you don't recall, this event happened in November 2015. Trump then was a presidential candidate, and he mimicked the disabled reporter at a rally in South Carolina. Yes, Trump tested his supporters by using this trial balloon. After that, Trump knew that his supporters don't care if he treats disabled people with respect. If you've watched that video, you might remember that some of the audience even laughed when he imitated the disabled journalist. And then Trump went further, launching another trial balloon, testing people's tolerance with him, testing the loyalty of MAGAs to him. So, in January 2016, when Trump was campaigning in Iowa, he said,
My people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
and you know what? His supporters, or I should say his followers, have made excuses for him, like it's Trump being Trump. No doubt, Trump has been going further and further due to the MAGAs, the media, and his so-called allies have been indulging him. So, in an official announcement made on March 30th, Trump declared himself King of America, citing what he called overwhelming support from billions and billions of people. Fortunately, people have been rising up. Yes, Americans have been waking up. More and more people know that dictators are bad for the country, the people, and the economy. That living in an authoritarian country is like living in hell. So, millions of people showed up and protested on No King's Day, which gave Trump a strong response to his trial balloon, the idea of King of America, letting him know that the majority of people don't want kings in America. Okay, my friends, if you're not new to this channel, you'd know that I've talked about Elon Musk's DOGE. And I said in one of my previous videos that Elon Musk's transact might hurt, even kill more people than the murder in the 1974 film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But if you're a new fan and you haven't watched it, please check it out in the description or comment. Yes, I believe that Musk's DOGE hurt ordinary people, the economy, and the country as a whole. And I think many people share the same opinions with me about DOGE. For example, a law professor at the University of Richmond who has been tracking DOGE's cuts. He believes that the loss of so much expertise, especially in the healthcare area, might cause more people get sick or die earlier than they might have. Just like what I said in the video I just mentioned, Musk's DOGE might cause thousands or even millions of people lose their health, even lives. Yes, right now, Elon Musk has already left DOGE. But what has he done except hurting Americans? Or I should say, what has Musk's DOGE done? According to DOGE, their aims are reducing U.S. government spending and cutting jobs. And they repeatedly claimed that Social Security is riddled with fraud, right? Before the election, Musk said that he could cut $2 trillion from the federal government budget. And then in late March 2025, he said that they got a good shot at getting $1 trillion in cuts. By April, that was down to saving the $150 billion. Why? Well, because according to CBS data, Trump's federal government has spent more than $200 billion more in his first 100 days compared to the same time period last year. Yes, $200 billion with a B. As for Social Security fraud, I believe there are some frauds, including Medicare fraud. For example, the Miami man, Lawrence Duran, who received 50-year sentence for Medicare fraud. Duran and his girlfriend received $87 million from the scheme. It's believed the largest therapy-related Medicare fraud scheme in history. But about a month ago, Trump quietly commuted the sentence of Duran. It's quite ironic, isn't it? Musk claimed that DOGE is also aiming at weeding out waste, fraud, and abuse. But they didn't find any. The ones who were convinced and sentenced, Trump gave them a pass. So the questions remain. What has DOGE done? What has Musk done? What has Trump's regime done? What do they really want? Do you know the answers, my friends? Okay, my friends, in case you don't know me yet, I'm Judy Fay London, a fan of Jack London. I'm a public writer who writes fiction and non-fiction novels and short stories. You're very welcome to visit my website, judyfaylondon.com, or Amazon to read my poems and my short stories. The last one is the art. Candy the Dog, and so on my latest non-fiction book, Living with the Walking Dead, a roadmap for achieving your own success. I hope to see you there, and thank you so much for your kind support, and thank you very much for subscribing to my YouTube channels, Judy Fay London and Judy Plus. Judy Fay London is a channel that mainly talks about culture, economics, and dictators and various events and people in human history, while Judy Plus is a channel that talks about interesting discoveries in the world of science. Thank you for watching. And my friends, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. It's totally free. Thank you.